Okay, so I was gonna flip this around to film so that I got better quality of video, but today I'm not going to do that. I want to be able to see myself and to make sure that it is still filming. But yeah, welcome back, you guys. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jo. I am the Cottage Witch. I hope that if you are new here, you decide to stick around and subscribe. And I hope that you come along with me on this crazy journey called life. And if you are not new here, hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being a part of my community, a part of this little village that we are creating together. Today's video is just going to be a little different. I know that in the YouTube community I posted February's lineup, and then a whole bunch of craziness started to happen. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my husband called. So I forget what I was saying. Oh, I posted a lineup in the February community of February lineup in the community that was telling us what all to expect on this channel in February. And then just a lot happened. And it actually kind of inspired this video a little bit. So I'm going to take that divine intervention. I'm going to trust in divine timing, and we will trust that all of the videos that I had planned will eventually make its way on this channel. So for the purpose of this video, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while. I just haven't had the right words, or I didn't know exactly how it was going to look like or what the purpose of it was. I just know what I want to say in a sense. So, a couple of things. What this made me think of, rewind. So, I had all of these plans, and then some stuff happened that emotionally drained me, and I ended up telling myself, well, I'll put off this week's video, and then I'll do 2 videos next week, and it'll be fine. I'm gonna take this time to tend to myself. And like I always do, I give myself that permission. Like, I'm aware that it's something that I need to do, and that rest is important, and that if we don't heed our body's alarm system that's telling us to stop, that eventually we will be forced to stop. And that's kind of going back into the purpose of this video, which is the body keeps the score, and how our physical health is directly related to our mental health, and how we've become so disconnected from that in the United States, that when we look at illnesses and ailments, we are looking at it from a physical standpoint. So if you have a sore throat, we're looking at, do you have tonsillitis? Do you have strep throat? If you have a chest cold, we're looking, do you have bronchitis? Do you have pneumonia? When we have low immune systems or compromised immunity, we look at, could there be any underlying diseases? When we struggle with infertility, we look for causes for that. Do you have PCOS? Do you have endometriosis? Is there male factor infertility? And while all of these are wonderful, it's great that we have advanced so far in medicine that we are able to use these life-saving measures to intervene when necessary. And I just want to start by saying that I in no way, shape, or form disagree with modern medicine, or don't use modern medicine, or I'm anti-modern medicine. There's not literally anything in life that I'm anti. I think what I'm trying to say is when we look at what's happening in our lives, if you are not taking the time to emotionally process those things, our body holds on to it because we haven't let it go. And when I talk about those things that I was just telling you about, like sore throats or colds or whatever, if in modern medicine we did our due diligence and we looked at the physical side and ran tests to make sure nothing was like going on there, and then we also asked the right questions for the emotional side, we would be able to integrate these into a holistic medical care system that looks at the body, the mind, the soul, all of it, and our health as a country would rise, like it would be better, and not just physical health, but our mental health as well would be better. So what this has been making me think about is how oftentimes when I tell myself, I give myself the prescription of rest, I will be resting, and the entire time I'm resting, instead of focusing on the like tending to my inner world and doing what needs to be done to feel better on the inside, I'm constantly thinking about everything I'm not doing in my outer world, in my physical world. I start thinking about the chores that aren't getting done, the work that's falling behind, the people that are counting on me, and I almost like, I rush, like, okay, I had the intention of taking time off and resting until I felt better, but now I'm gonna cut that short. I've rested for a day or two, and now I'm gonna hop back on, you know, whatever regimen I've set up for myself, and I'm just gonna hit the ground running, and I'm gonna keep going. And if you are somebody that does this too, you may have noticed that you get sick after, whether that's just a simple cold that makes you slow down and just take a couple more days off, or if this is something that you've been bypassing for a really long time, it can turn into like long-term illnesses and diseases. So part of my story with that is my hysterectomy that I had at 28. I had a hysterectomy due to adenomyosis and endometriosis, and both of those diseases had essentially just ripped apart my uterus, and it was unsalvageable. It was causing me so much pain. I had a year-long period, infertility, just horrible, it affected my entire health. And after my hysterectomy, I actually went through a period that can only be described as postpartum depression and postpartum rage. It is what I have felt like postpartum before. And in that process of coming out of surgery and having all of this rage that I didn't know where it was coming from, I didn't know why it was there, I just felt rage, I felt sadness, I felt disconnected, I felt scared, I felt a lot of things. And it was through research that I found out that if I lived in an Eastern world country, like China or Korea or India or any of those places, I would have been treated in a holistic manner. They would have looked at the problems with my uterus before it ever got to the point that it did, and they would have asked questions like, have you ever been sexually assaulted? What is the relationship with your mother and father like? What was your childhood like? Did you feel safe? Do you feel safe to create and to hold space, to take up space? They would have asked what my pregnancy history looked like and what have I been doing to deal with the multiple miscarriages that I had before we got pregnant with my son. All of these things, if we were doing holistic medical care, they would have looked at and they would have said, oh, it's no surprise that you had these issues with your female reproductive organs. And we would have taken a standpoint of addressing the underlying issues, which was the unresolved trauma that I had been holding on to, and it may have very well saved my uterus. It may have saved my fertility. And it was through this journey of losing that and learning all of these things that I realized that the reason we are so disconnected as a society from our health and why we are relying so much on big pharma to keep us going and healthy is because we stopped looking at the root cause a long time ago. We've been band-aiding it, and we've been using modern medicine as a crutch to bypass the real work that we could be doing. Now, again, I don't think that talking about your emotions is the only thing and the only answer. I think that it is a step that we often don't take, and then we get to the point of no return where we're losing organs, or we're dealing with autoimmune disorders or long-term illnesses. And I want to see America, I want to see my brothers and sisters, my family, my village. I want to see people start to get better, and we cannot get better as a whole until we have started pausing more and allowing that time to reflect and work through our own emotional worlds before we just keep going and keep pushing through. In life, I think that is important. The importance of being able to tune into your body and knowing what it needs and honoring it. The honoring it is important, because I mean, I know what I need sometimes and I don't honor it, and then I get myself stuck in these situations where now I'm sitting here, and if I had just taken the time I needed to process some things, I wouldn't be sitting here just getting over what I can only imagine was some sort of upper chest cold. Had a fever, my throat's been hurting, my chest has been hurting, my back has been hurting, and I would have been able to bypass this illness. I wouldn't have been out for almost 2 weeks if I had just taken the time I needed originally to get better. So again, I don't really know the point of this video, other than there is a lot that I've been wanting to say on looking at our illnesses and our ailments from a more holistic standpoint. If you are somebody that struggles with constant throat aches, ask yourself, what truth have you been holding on to and you feel you haven't been able to speak? How often do you bite your tongue instead of speaking up? Because you could have a blocked throat chakra if you constantly have throat aches. Shoulder pain, let's call it what it is. If you are constantly experiencing shoulder pain, what are you carrying, right? What's resting on your shoulders that you need to put down for a second? If you have constant stomach pain, what have you been swallowing that needs to be let go of? What have you been pushing down that needs to come up? If you are somebody that struggles with constipation, in what ways are you not digesting your emotions in the world around you? If you feel like you struggle with creative blockages or infertility, in what ways do you feel stunted? In what ways were you told that your light was too much and you needed to dim it? In what ways did you try and show up and play and create as a child and it wasn't allowed? Were you sexually assaulted? Did you have a good relationship with your parents? Do you feel safe? Same with back pain. All of these things, high blood pressure, all of these things can often have a very physical root cause. And because America is so disconnected, we just have completely walked away from that. And I feel like that is why so many people are sick today. And it makes me sad. It makes me very sad that this just seems so obvious to me, and it's not something that people that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in education even acknowledge or know about. So I think I kind of want to do a series on this possibly, where we kind of dive more into this holistic health from a physical and spiritual, emotional standpoint. And we kind of talk about that a little bit more and how we can do things to bring that balance back into our own lives. And I just kind of want to challenge you guys, If you are somebody that has been dealing with any sort of chronic pain, chronic illnesses, mental health issues, I just ask that you take this video, you dive a little bit deeper into what you're struggling with. You can go onto Google and you can search what emotions are stored in my kidneys, what emotions are stored in my neck. My jaw just popped. What emotions are stored, in my jaw? What emotions are responsible for TMJ? And you will be, or what emotions are stored in the uterus. You would be surprised when reading it how much the bells are going off in your head, and you're like, that's exactly what I've been feeling, and you just haven't given yourself the space to slow down and to process it. I know for me, and I know for a lot of people in my friend group, slowing down and processing emotions or bad things that have happened, it always is met with, I just gotta hurry up and get through this. I just gotta hurry up and get this over with so I can get back to living my life. The life you're living isn't the one that you want to live. You're in chronic pain, you're chronically sad, you're chronically feeling unfulfilled, you're chronically just not sleeping well, hurting. Things have been out of balance for a long time, and you've known this, and you've been trying to do all of these other external things to kind of align your life and make it better, and what the thing you've actually been missing and needing to do is just to slow down and to take notice and recognition of what is going on inside of you, and to do that inner work. And I did a tarot reading right before I did this video, and I was asking, why is it that I feel so anxious right now? And it basically came down to the fact that I only define productivity as something that is happening when I am building something outside of myself, when I am completing something outside of myself, when I am offering something to the world around me. That is the only time that I am productive. And in the reading, Spirit was saying productivity is resting. Productivity is refueling. Productivity is sitting and daydreaming. We have completely skewed the word productivity to only mean clocking in, clocking out, grinding gears, hustling, building. And there's so much productivity that happens in the pause, in the waiting, in the feeling, in the reflecting, because so much growth happens there too. And actually, I would even say that most of the important growth that you are desiring to build, whatever it is that you're trying to build, comes in those moments where you feel like you're doing nothing. I also read a quote somewhere that was like, boredom is the birth of creativity, and distraction is the detriment of it, or something like that. And we live in a world of distraction. We live in a world where they have convinced us that the system that they've built to keep us enslaved is the system that we are supposed to be thriving in. And we're all walking around barely surviving and wondering, why is it that we can't be like everybody else and thrive? Nobody is thriving in this system. And with the age of Aquarius, we are coming into a collective awakening and reckoning where we realize that the systems that they built to keep us enslaved and indoctrinated in are outdated. They are not a world that is built for our success, our thriving, our happiness. And collectively, I feel like we are starting to realize that we spent our entire lives building a system for them instead of building a system that works for us and allows for that thriving. So this is just kind of one of my food for thought vlogs of, maybe you're somebody that has been dealing with a lot of chronic pain, a lot of chronic mental health issues, a lot of chronic issues that just keep popping up. And I want you to know that they're popping up as an alarm system to tell you that there's something that needs to be alchemized, there's something that needs to be processed, digested, and let go of. And maybe there's an ending that you've been avoiding that also is something that you need to be letting go of in order to start to see progress. So yeah, I don't think that I have much else for this video. I definitely want to touch on this a few more times, but I did want to get a video out here, and I did want to give you guys some sort of background on what's going on in my life. I also kind of want to touch on something else. When you are called to do something, to make a change, you may notice that when you start to do that thing that you're wanting to do, that it seems like everything starts to fall apart, and it's almost like a challenge of how bad you want something, or like how bad you're going to push forward, or how hard you're going to work towards it. And I want to challenge you to take a look at what's happening as a way for you to lean into the unpredictable, to let go of the grasp you have of how things should be and should go. And you should practice flexing that adaptability muscle, the ability to just roll with the flow, and trust that divine timing is taking you to exactly where you need to be, to do exactly what you need to do. Don't allow what seemingly looks like challenge and opposition and things falling apart to distract you or make you feel that this isn't where you're supposed to be, or that you're running out of time, or any of that. Just keep showing up for yourself, keep putting one foot in the front of the other. Not all days are going to look the same, not all days are going to have the same amount of effort. And when you feel called to slow down, take that opportunity to slow down and allow for it to prepare you for what is coming. So I think that's all that I have for you guys. I love you. I hope you like this video. If it didn't make any sense, I apologize. It's kind of just some ramblings that I have going on in my brain right now. And if you would like me to touch more on this subject, please do comment in the comment section, and I would love to kind of dive more into this with a more focused conversation. Yeah, so I do want to get a tarot reading, a pick a card up on the channel this week as well. That might come tomorrow, or by the end of the week. I don't want to put a deadline on it. I do better when I don't feel forced into that box, just because doing tarot readings does take a certain level of mental, like, I don't know the word, I wanted to say sharpness, but it's just like I have to be in a certain headspace for it to be the kind of quality of readings that I enjoy. So yes, there will be a pick a card coming, and hopefully it's this week and it doesn't have to wait till next week, but I will let you guys know when that is coming. So make sure you are subscribed so that you get any notifications. Make sure you're following the Facebook group, because I do post in there when a video is coming up. And if you like tarot readings and you're waiting for the next one, you can join my TikTok, and I do readings on there as well. Alright, I love you guys. I will see you later. Thank you so much for joining me and for just sticking around for this babbling video. I hope you have a good week. I hope everybody is feeling okay, and you know, if you are needing a little bit extra time and space to unfurl slowly this week, please give it to yourself. I love you guys. Bye.